Hey, welcome to the Joe Hoff Show. This is Joe Hoff, and it is Tuesday. I'm just finishing up, wrapping up the Tina Peters show earlier. Tina's The Truth Matters on this same station, Untamed Nation, and now jumping over here to the Joe Hoff Show. So thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for supporting Tina. I heard I was talking to Matt Mack during that show that she's being moved today from jail to prison. The woman, innocent woman who did her job, being persecuted by this grotesque government. And the people of Colorado should be ashamed of their government. Time for people to stand up and start to fight for what's right. Fight, fight, fight. I was just mentioning on the show yesterday and today that three-word phrase is going down in history. It is huge. It will never be forgotten. Kind of like we came, we saw, we conquered from the Romans 2,000 years ago. That was shared. Now we got fight, fight, fight. Those are words of war, words of truth, words of this is it. This is where we're at, and this is really where we're at. We've got corruption across this government. We've got corruption across our legal system, across our judiciary, and inside and outside of the government, massive corruption through NGOs. We've got a beautiful woman like Tina Peters in prison. We've had, fortunately, the January Sixers have gotten out. And by the way, I put a great piece up. It was three videos that we've had here on this show. One with Jake Lang, one with Stuart Rhodes, one with Enrique Tario. Three January Sixers, and many people know all were told and asked or really threatened by our Department of Justice, injustice, to say, well, if you say President Trump was committing an insurrection, instead of giving you 20 years, we'll give you two. And many of these three individuals said, no, 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 you guys are snake liars. We're not going to do that for you. We're not going to do that for anybody. Integrity means a lot more. And so these individuals would not do it. They ended up getting 20 years. Jake Lang, he never did even had a court date yet. 4 years in jail. Outrageous days in solitary. Just outrageous stuff. Anyways, it's amazing that that's what our DOJ is doing. That's what it did. This is criminal stuff. Everybody on that DOJ that was involved in that needs to be arrested and imprisoned and held to the highest standards of our law. We put people in these positions to uphold the law, not to break it. And I think when people in those positions break the law, they need to be held accountable to the maximum standards. Instead, we had these corrupt Obama judges in DC using the maximum standards against people that did nothing but not even walk in the Capitol. Enrique Tario wasn't even there. He's in Maryland the day of January 6th. Just outrageous stuff that we've watched over these past few years. Just outrageous. We need to fight, fight, fight. I think it's really important that we work really hard right now to try to save this country because it's up to us. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you. It's up to me. We've got to do the best we can. So, get ready and do it. We're going to do it. Anyways, I could go on and on about this, but or you wouldn't be watching this show that we've got a lot of work to do and we're going to do it. We're going to get it done and we are going to win. By the way, as I mentioned over the past few weeks, I will be in St. Louis this weekend at an event, and it'll be out in St. Charles area, along with American Sovereign or United Sovereign Americans. Are Yeah, both Harry and Marley will be there, and Ann Vandersteel will be a keynote speaker along with myself. So hope to see you there. I should have some books for sale if you'd like to buy a set. That'd be great. Be signing them there. But it should be a great time. So if you have time this weekend, you're in the St. Louis area or nearby or not, come see this event. It should be a lot of fun. So thank you in advance for being there. It'll be a great time. You can get information on it at joehoff.com and or at United for Freedom, I believe is their website. But you look up United USA, United Sovereign Americans, their website. You'll get information there as well. So just want to note that. And let's just jump into the stories of the day before we bring on our great guest today. one thing that was very significant that occurred last night, late last night, is Elon Musk proved that there's no such thing as global warming. Take a look at this video and you'll know what I mean. So Elon Musk's craft spaceship orbited the Earth at the poles, and it's the first time that's ever happened. That was last night, and the pictures that is what you call ice cold, damn cold. And just think, Al Gore was saying about 20 years ago, I guess, that the Earth was going to be no longer polar ice caps in 5 years. He said in 5 years, in about 2009, he said that. And I can remember flying over the poles, going from Chicago to Shanghai and on to Hong Kong, and in the winter, and it was nothing but snow the whole way. And Al Gore saying the stuff about, oh, we got global warming. I would have to say that Elon Musk proved that wrong to the whole world yesterday. But then again, all you had to do is take that flight from Chicago to Shanghai. You'd know what I mean in January. There's no such thing as global warming. It's a scam. And Elon proved that. He's going to upset the lefties on that now. So the truth hurts these idiots. And thank God we've got it. And thank God we're on the side of the truth because that's the only side to be on. So, anyways, here's a girl that I thought was kind of funny. I noticed this today. This girl's all obsessed because she finds out her this guy that she likes apparently involved in climate um, is a conservative. She freaks out. I'm saying, is Elon her boyfriend? What's the deal? Because he certainly proved global warming's a joke last night. Anyways, take a look at this.
Found out today that somebody that I work with is a conservative, and he's somebody who's really intelligent, and he's somebody who works in climate tech as a super smart guy, somebody I would never have thought was conservative, and apparently he is. And it's surprising and it's disgusting, but what's most surprising to me is the level of sudden hatred that I have for him. Sudden hatred for this man who I used to respect suddenly just went boop, and I hate him now.
See, it reminds me of well, James Woods put that up, and he says, "In their own words," and that's liberals. But you know who really nailed this was a couple weeks ago. A guy from Romania. He and his brother come to the U.S. and land in Florida, and he had this segment, and I forgot his name right now. You guys know who I'm talking about, where he talked about the Matrix, and he says it's like, yeah, you can be talking to people. Life's like the Matrix. He was talking to Tucker, and Tate is his last name, and he says how, yeah, you can be talking to somebody, and all of a sudden somebody brings up COVID, and these people change. Boom, like in the Matrix, like these people, how they would suddenly become these policemen. Remember, Mr. Smith or whatever, Mr. Jones or whatever their name was, and they just become monsters. That was a great example. The girl even admits it. All of a sudden, boom, she changes, and he says, "This is what it is. We talk about stupid things, nothing that matters. It's all the whole world's a matrix. And then when something important happens, these people have been brainwashed so bad. She hates this guy, a guy that she apparently liked. Amazing, amazing. Right there in front of everybody for all of us to see. This is what's going on. This is what our mainstream media does to people. It's not about the truth to them. It's about propaganda, and it's about lies, and it's about making people do things that you'd like them to do. It's disgusting. It's evil. It's the antithesis of goodness and godliness and everything else. So unbelievable stuff. Um, so along with that, you've got these people that now are suddenly they don't like Tesla. Tesla used to be the car of the green car. It's going to save the world from global warming, and it was a fallacy. But they used to love Elon Musk and his cars. I think their cars are cool. I've never had a problem with those cars. I love those trucks personally. Anyways, here's some idiot who bought into it again. The Matrix got him, and he starts drawing a swastika on somebody's car and gets caught. This guy looks like he could be in some big trouble. That's terrorism. Watch this.
Service. How about you pay for the repairs? Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off
No,
with a towel.
no,
It's not
no.
a heat.
It is a
It
hate
was a
crime,
it was
sir.
A crayon.
It is a hate crime.
Listen,
Did you write a swastika on there?
I'm sorry you're upset.
Did you write a swastika?
It didn't even work. Apparently it doesn't work.
Did you write a
The crayons
swastika
don't
on
work.
the? It's a key, sir. We see it on the video.
It's not a key.
Did you? Is it a
I
swastika?
was probably putting my keys in my pocket.
Is it a swastika?
Have you looked at your car?
Is it a swastika?
Is there a key
yes.
mark?
Is it
It's
a
not-
swastika?
that's
It's at the
impossible.
police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down. So your business, your freaking livelihood, everything now.
Listen,
because you chose to write so to tell Facebook that you're sorry for writing a swastika on a Tesla.
Listen, I said I'm sorry.
For what?
And I
For what?
apologize.
For what?
I have nothing against
For
your
what?
car, and I have nothing against you.
So why
Okay?
would you write a swastika on a Tesla?
Obviously, I have something against Elon Musk, but that's not the
So
way
Elon
to show
Musk
my...
owns that car because
No,
it was
he
bought
owns
and
the
paid
company.
for. It was bought and paid for a long time
That's
ago.
why it's misguided, and obviously, I did not intend to do this.
All right,
sir.
we're gonna wait for the.
All right, we're gonna wait for the cops, buddy. You're busted, and that's terrorism. And that guy, unfortunately, he should go. He should pay the penalty. And if the Matrix gets you like that, then maybe you're gonna have to freaking face the medicine. They threw January 6ers in prison for walking in the Capitol and going to the bathroom. I mean, and wanted to throw them in prison for 5, 6 years. Many of them were spending time in prison. What's worse? Drawing a swastika on somebody's car? What is that? Is this guy a Nazi? What's going on? By the standards of the January 6th committee, this guy should be up for some sort of severe punishment. It's outrageous. Anyways, this is the media. This is what they're doing to people. They're turning good people into monsters. It's terrible. The guy, it's terrible. It's terrible. Thank God we're on the side of the truth. Here's something that you're not hearing. Yesterday, I got this call from actually my brother and a friend of his, and she's all concerned about the economy and blah, 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 blah. Well, it's because you're not being told the truth. Here's this guy I just absolutely love, Professor St. Ong, and he's talking about the economy. Here's something you're not going to hear in our media. The economy is doing some incredible stuff. Watch this.
Consumers are on fire. New numbers say consumer spending and incomes are taking off under Donald Trump. Hardest hit are legacy journalists still furiously stabbing their voodoo dolls for a recession. Last week, the Department of Commerce released fresh numbers on spending and income. This was the first report under Trump, so there's a lot of attention on it, and it was on fire. Personal consumption expenditures jumped 5.3% annualized. That's up from negative 3.3% in Biden's last month, so the consumer is coming back. Incomes did even better, up 9.7% annualized. Disposable income, which is after-tax money, actually hit 10.9% annualized, which is up a third from Biden's last. Combine this with Trump's inflation numbers. I mentioned last week, Trump cut annualized CPI in half, while Truflation's real-time gauge is currently at just 1.8% annual inflation. Legacy media, of course, did what they could to spin it, while Reuters played it straight with, quote, U.S. consumer spending rebounds. CNN headlined these very same numbers as, quote, consumers are spending less, while literally reporting in the first paragraph that consumers are spending more, and then waiting till the 19th paragraph before mentioning that incomes are soaring. Stock market sadly fell since our Federal Reserve-dominated market actually likes pain, because it means the Fed will dump more cheap money into markets, while when Americans are doing well, as now, it might be good for business, but it is bad for the money printer on which markets subsist. Indeed, the Fed is currently deer in the headlights since they were unprepared for the falling inflation and soaring growth Trump is delivering so far. So the backstory here is the Fed generally tries to lower rates since its job is to print money. That's why Wall Street bribed it into existence. Lower rates mean more borrowing, which effectively prints money, meaning lower rates make inflation go up. Of course, if inflation is already high, they can't lower rates. That would send inflation to double digits, and that's why the Fed has been keeping rates high through the Biden administration. But with Trump bringing inflation down, rate cuts could be on the menu, meaning lower rates on everything from car loans to mortgages to credit cards. The problem is rapid growth also leads to more borrowing, which in our crony fiat banking system also drives inflation. This puts the Fed in a holding pattern. Lower inflation makes them want to cut, higher growth scares them off. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Trump's economic numbers so far have been stellar, cutting inflation in half, raising income growth by a third, pulling consumer spending out of the gutter. In fact, they've been too good. 4 years of Joe Biden should be more of a hangover. So my base case is still a good chance of a paper recession as slowing government spending and mass deportations hit before the new factories and small businesses can make up the gap. Still, for now, these are great numbers. Hopefully we see a lot more. A new episode of the podcast just dropped, rounding up all the videos from last week. Check it out on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Yeah, I just love that guy, the Professor St. Onge. He just lays it out there. It's great news. Great news on the economy. So Trump's doing better than anybody even imagined. Cutting inflation, increasing growth. It's a match made in heaven again. Trump's got it going. He's got some real smart guys on his team. Why don't we get ready for a break here? We've got a special guest coming in after this. But before we go to break, let me mention this opportunity that's available for you today. All you have to do is go to hoftoilboom.com. This opportunity is for investors. Some of the smartest investors in the world are now doing this. They're not buying oil stocks. They're investing in this mailbox money from oil royalties instead. And so what we're talking about is a residual income as well as something that shows up, well, month after month, and it's passive income too. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be connected. All you need is a brokerage account. Go to hoftoilboom.com and you can learn more about this on these royalty checks and start receiving one monthly. Anyways, we've got a great guest, good friend coming on right after this, Mr. Tom Renz. Cannot wait to hear his thoughts on what's going on in this incredible time in world history. And we'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Joe Hoft. Are you looking for monthly income without the risk of stocks? Here's something you won't hear about on CNBC. There's a unique way to collect royalties directly from America's most productive oil fields. No exploring, drilling, or operational headaches. You simply collect checks month after month. The best part? You can get started with just $25 through any brokerage account. The Oxford Club's chief income strategist, Mark Lechtenfeld, breaks down what he believes is the #1 royalty play for 2025. Visit hoftoilboom.com now to learn more. That's hoftoilboom.com, hoftoilboom.com. Stop buying oil stocks and start collecting oil royalty checks now instead.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF. What is DCF, you ask? We're the best damn sandwich shop in the universe. Do we sell hoagies? Well, we're DCF, and the F doesn't stand for hoagies. We got 9mm sandwiches. We got beastly baguettes. And we toast buns like no other. Looking for training on bun safety? We got you covered. And our ranges are the best place to test out your new Not sandwich. So get your buns out, because the sun's out. And let's party! We're not actually a sandwich shop.
Hey, we're back. Had a nice little chat there with Tom off line here. I told him, "Hey, hold on, big guy. We gotta get this stuff on air." So, without further ado, let me introduce to you Tom Renz, attorney Tom Renz, and a good friend. Tom, welcome to the show.
Glad to see you, Joe. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking your time to be with us. So, should we continue on some of this discussion that we started during the break? What do you think?
I'm wound up on this idea of justice, and justice delayed is justice denied, and I mean, without giving away too much. I see Bondi's out there talking about justice again, right? And that's great. And I see there's a lot in the media today about her going after the death penalty for the guy that shot the healthcare guy. That's fine. I mean, that's certainly a good thing. And we see, she's going 20 years for the guy who keyed the Tesla or did whatever he did with the Teslas or whatever, and that's good. But the guy that did the vandalism on the Tesla, he's a low-level nobody. The real question is, are we investigating? Is there a RICO investigation going on to go after the Open Society Foundation or whoever else might be behind these, right? When are the billionaires who are funding the unrest in this country going to be in jail? And I'm gonna say, Joe, I'm okay with waiting on that because that takes a lot of time to develop. But the one thing that I am really impatient on, and that I'm tired of waiting for, and that I think is an outright error, and I'm sick of people telling me trust the plan, is the Epstein list. The Epstein list is a threat to national security. The people who were on that list that were being blackmailed are still being blackmailed. And until such time as they're exposed, they will continue to be being blackmailed. We don't know who Epstein was working for. Everybody speculated that he's working for this, working for that. I don't know. But whoever he was working for still has that data. And for the politicians that were on that list that have their thumb on our national security, the bureaucrats, the high-level national security officials that might have been on that list, that have access to classified information, these are people who are still on that list, who are still being blackmailed by the same people, and there's no reason to believe that they've stopped. There's no reason to believe that the blackmail's quit. And until such time as someone does something, until there's someone in handcuffs, the Epstein list is the one thing that I do not think it's appropriate to wait for. Those people, if you've got a video of someone practicing pedophilia, they put them in jail. It doesn't take that long, and it would have a chilling effect, and it might shut down the blackmail ring. It might shut down something. Right now, there's no evidence that anything's ever going to happen. For all we know, the list is being scrubbed. We don't know what's happening. We just know that no one's gone to jail, and the blackmail ring is still up and running.
You're spot on. Absolutely spot on. I had Roger Stone on the show a week and a half ago, and he started talking about the JFK files. And he points out two things that he knows that should have been released that hasn't been released.
Yeah.
Did Anna Paulina Luna say, hey, there's this video of what's his name down at the bookstore in the walkway that hasn't been released. So there's documents that aren't being released there. I got a piece from Sheila Matthews with Able Child this morning on the Butler assassination, and she brings up some shocking stuff that people don't know. I'm gonna mention this to you right now. She says that there's no specific information identifying the shooter. They didn't provide physical evidence to prove that the shooter was Thomas Crooks. It's not available on anything released so far. We
No.
don't really know that it's Crooks, other than our media says it was Thomas Crooks 1,000 times a day when they talk about it.
Yeah.
And this congressman Kelly from Pennsylvania ran this team that included Democrats. So right away, it's a sham, and they're not letting people see documents. There's reports there was a state police report we haven't seen. There's ballistics report we haven't seen, and and the full and the autopsy has remained in secrecy as well. So Americans are getting a little tired of this. It's terrible.
Well, listen, I mean, Joe, this isn't complicated. I mean, it's just there are people who are being blackmailed right now. No one's doing anything about it, and so the problem's continuing. And I got a post today. Someone responded, said, "Well, that's because they're spending all their time responding to people like you instead of being able to do the work." Bull crap. Let me tell you what's going on right now. Blackmail is continuing to occur. National secrets are still being leaked. There are problems all over the place. And you're telling me to trust a plan. I trust Donald Trump, but guess what? Donald Trump trusted Bill Barr, too. He trusted a lot of people that he shouldn't have trusted. Yeah. So I do trust Donald Trump. I believe in what he's doing. I believe in what Elon Musk is doing. I believe in what a lot of people are doing. But do I trust everyone around them? Hell no, I don't. Right now, as you said, I just saw the JFK files that were released and showed a whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Did they show the CIA is corrupt? Yeah. But so what? We already knew the CIA was corrupt. There's a million files demonstrating that. There was nothing actionable. There was nothing actionable whatsoever in that. Nothing that shifted. And you're right. Roger Stone's been putting stuff out right and left. First-hand witness info. Where's it? What's going on there? No one's looking in. No one's talking about that at all. This is nonsense. It's a whitewash. And I'm telling you, mark my words. I pray to God I'm wrong, but I will bet you dimes to dollar this Epstein list, when it's released, is whitewash of any very useful information. There'd be a couple, fairly high profile this, high profile that. But unless Prince Andrew is in handcuffs the next day, unless some of these unless Bill Gates' name is on, because listen. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe Andrew was never there. But I'm going to tell you what. This guy, Jeffrey Epstein, did not kill himself in prison. That's nonsense. And the idea that this is something less than one of the biggest international conspiracies on the planet is absurd. Now, we've been hearing from Trump and everybody that they're going to be the most transparent presidency ever. Let's see it. I trust Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump. But you know what? He's the boss. He needs to make sure that Bondi and crew are held accountable. And I want to know I want to see truth. I want to see them put their money where their mouth is. They've been telling us what they're going to do, They're not one person. And again, I get people so mad at me. Renz, how can you not trust Trump? I do trust Trump. But he also trusted Bill Barr. Think of the number of people that he trusted in his first administration that sucked. I want to see what's going on with this. And this is a national security threat. And it's a national security threat that continues and is ongoing every day until such time as the Epstein list is exposed fully.
I'm right with you, Tom, 100%. And and they're not spending their time answering questions of yours. They're not answering any questions. And we saw Bill Barr bring in Durham, and then it turns out no, Durham was just covering everything up. His report was crap. We know now today. Fortunately, and you would know this, Rudy Giuliani was on my show and he said, "Well, there's no statute of limitations for murder and for treason." And fortunately, that should be done. Tom, how many people could you think of? And maybe you don't need to mention anybody, but how many people we know they committed crimes just from what's in the public realm. Where's the indictments?
Well, I mean, look at the stuff that's been released. Right before the election, I worked and we pushed out some information, some whistleblower stuff on the Democrats and how they worked with various groups to facilitate J6. That's a RICO. That should have been right at the top of the RICO list. AOC, Raskin, all these guys appeared to be working with these groups. Are they being investigated? I mean, is anybody even looking at it? And granted, now in those cases, I can say, okay, it may take some time, and it's only been 40 days, and a case like that, I'm okay. But the problem is I'm only okay to an extent because I watched how fast. I mean, you've got the entire DOJ there, right? So look at how fast they put J6ers in jail. I mean, it was so fast it made your head swim. There needs to be something done to create a chilling effect, to show people how serious we are and show people there'll be real accountability for the globalist billionaires and the politically powerful. That's what we elected Donald Trump for. We wanted justice. We wanted a warrior who's going to fight for this stuff. And if his staff isn't going to get that done, now someone said, well, Cash and Bongino are awesome. Yes, they are. I love Cash. I love Bongino. I got total faith. But guess what? They work for the DOJ. The DOJ doesn't work for them. And, you know, what ends up coming out, I don't know with internals. I don't know what's going on with this. All I know is I don't trust anyone unless I can verify. And right now, I do know this. Jeffrey Epstein was working for someone. I want to know who he was working for, because whoever that was has a lot of national security secrets, has a lot of blackmail power over a lot of people. And I want to know who that was, because whoever that was needs to be held accountable, because they are no friend to this country. Whoever it is, we need to know who was trying to blackmail our political elite, what they got, and what was going on. And we need to know what their goals were. I mean, this is one of the most profound national security questions on the planet. Now, if they tell me we're working on that, we're not ready to get it out, okay. But we had, what was it, a week or two ago now that Trump came out and said that, I can verify that Bondi's working on this. Okay, good. But Mr. President, with all due respect, is someone who loves, who fought for, and who voted for you. Sir, our national security continues to be at risk every day that this is happening. And I don't care who's telling you what, until some of these people, and there's a couple of them you could put in jail right away. There'd be no problem. You could put one or two big high profile, you could put one or two of these people, send a message. Even if you're a billionaire globalist, you can go to jail if you're a pedophile. Even if you're an elected Democrat politician, if you're a pedophile, you're going to jail. You could send that message. That would have a chilling effect on the blackmail. That would have a chilling effect on what people are sharing. That would shift everything. The first time you put a Democrat congressman who is a pedophile in prison, or a globalist billionaire, that changes the world in a profound way. That's what we're all waiting for. But until then, like I said, I just am concerned about the national security risk that we have allowing this to continue.
No, you're spot on. It's just outrageous. I think you're right. At least, bring some of these people and arrest them for the obvious crimes. I mean, some of these people, absolutely got caught lying. And why can't you arrest them right now for perjury? Bring them in. Do something. I'm thinking of that. Was his name Chris Farley, the guy, the big fat guy on Saturday Night Live? I
love Chris Farley.
Do something.
Yeah.
Do something. And that's all we want. Do something. There's so much crime. It's so gross.
There's so much that's so clear. And again, on some of these, I understand that, that you need to finish your investigation. But for example, some of these people who committed, crimes that are probably RICO crimes, things like that, but also perjured themselves before Congress or something like that, those are unrelated crimes. You can charge someone from them and then later bring additional charges. You can't charge someone twice for the same crime, but you can bring extra charges as you have the information. There's no reason you can't do more than one. But give us something. We've got to shut down the fraud machine. The fraud and the corruption, this is, someone has to take a definitive step to do that. And we can see what's happening right now, right? Look at the corruption that's occurring or that appears to be occurring in the courts, right? We've got a number of judges who seem to be clearly violating 28 USC 455. What are we doing with that? Is anybody looking at that? Have we even gone so far as to make a complaint? Because the prescribed mechanism to deal with this is to make an ethics complaint, right? You can impeach a judge or you can make an ethics complaint. Is the DOJ made a single ethics complaint? Has Trump got any? Where is Project 65 on the MAGA side? I mean, the Democrats have Project 65, where every lawyer like me got bar complaints every time they filed a lawsuit. That's why Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell have had so much trouble. Where is that on our side? We want to see people playing ball the way that they. I mean, listen, we didn't set the rules of the game. The left did. We've got to play by those rules. We need to punch back. We want to see punching back. And Trump's issuing the executive orders. Trump's doing the right thing. Trump's going after it. Musk is tearing it up like no one you've ever seen. But if the rest of the crew doesn't jump on board, it ain't going to work. And right now, I'm seeing a whopping nothing out of the DOJ. And guess what? I'm a lawyer. You can't bullcrap me. I know what it is. I know what you're supposed to do. And, I'm going to tell you, not that there was any chance on the planet. I didn't even put, it's not like my name was in there, or I don't want to give anybody the impression that I even considered this. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I was getting put into the DOJ in any sort of a position of authority, I would have had 15 cases underdeveloped the second I found out anybody was even thinking about it. And I would have had, by the time the second I got in there, I would have had a plan for the first, second, third prosecutions, the things that we can do today, the things we need to work on for tomorrow, and what we're planning on after that, and where they go. And don't tell me you couldn't do that. Give Trump some wins. The DOJ's got to get on this.
Absolutely. And here's the thing that grabs me too, Tom. We saw with Merrick Garland, his last day in the DOJ, he walks out of that building, the whole damn building, it looks like, is cheering him like he's a rock star. We saw a similar situation in New York a few weeks ago when this guy that was withholding information on the Epstein files walks out there, and he's treated like a rock star, cocky son of a bitch from the FBI who walks out like he just thinks he's king of the world. Definitely a major ego guy, but the whole place is cheering him. Now, to me, if you've got people in your organization that are cheering people like that, you got to get rid of them. I'm not hearing boo about people being fired in these entities. I think you could gut half the organizations, if not 3/4 or 80%. It's so corrupt there. Anybody that's doing that is not on our team.
Well, and listen, we have so many patriot lawyers out there now. I mean, when I started in COVID, I couldn't find anybody willing to do anything. But we've got all sorts of good groups out there now filled with patriot lawyers. Now, would they take a full-time job for the DOJ? I don't know. But, there's plenty of people out there that'd be willing to do something. You can appoint outside counsel in certain cases. You can do certain things. There's all sorts of solutions available. And I understand that they are probably having a lot of pushback in the DOJ because, Obama, Biden, they worked for a lot of years to ensure that the bureaucracy was full of corrupt nonsense. But as you said, I don't even see people being fired. I mean, we got one guy, the head of the SDNY office, getting fired. Well, yippee. What about the rest of the office, and where are the criminal charges against him? If he was obstructing justice, why wasn't he charged with it? I mean, why is nobody doing anything to anyone? There is nothing. There is no aggression within the DOJ. Well, that's not how we do it as lawyers. Bull crap. I just watched the weaponized DOJ go after grandmas and parents who go to school board meetings. I watched it weaponized DOJ go after people who were praying within X number of feet of an abortion clinic. I watched the weaponized DOJ go after J6ers who did nothing. Nothing. They just got waved into a Capitol building by police. I watched the DOJ stand. I watched this nonsense for the last 4 years. You're telling me that we can't find one high-profile person? No, we're going to hang our hat on the fact that we're finally arresting gang members and going out and pressing for actual charges against murderers. Good. I expect you to do that. But we expect anyone who's running the DOJ to do that. I want someone to actually fight and do and help to fix our country. Because right now you're doing your job, but you aren't fixing our country. That's great that you're doing your job again, but we elected you to fix our country, not to sit on your hands. And that's what's happening with this DOJ right now.
Yeah. Tom, it's to me, the thought just crossed my mind. It's like with the election process and the massive corruption. It's just massive. Elon pointed out this week with Social Securities. I think these are these videos that he came out with the other night on Fox, where he's got Doge, and they're just saying basically none of this stuff's auditable. Our the financials in our government are a joke. This is how I looked at the election process. Nothing's certifiable. It's all broken. And it's like, when are we going to see any of this stuff addressed in the DOJ? It's the same thing. What is going on there? I don't care in the election process if you bring up 4 people that you found that ran, that multiplied ballots 3 times. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I want to see major league crimes being addressed. That we know that are out there. I don't care about one murderer that you've now just you're going to put on death row or whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
We've got a major league. If we don't fix this, and to me, in the next couple years, because in the 2026 election, if things are the way they are, we're not going to win them because nobody's fixing this shit, and we've got to get it fixed.
We've got 12 months, Joe. You know as well as I do that once primary season gets underway, they aren't going to do a damn thing. I mean, we can't get Congress to do anything now. So, I mean, basically, right now, as everybody said, trust the plan, trust the plan. Bullshit. Sorry about this, but I ain't going to trust a plan. I want to see a plan implemented. Then I'll trust it. Right now, the only plan I see is get incomplete JFK files that cover up, the reality that it was actually apparently Lyndon Johnson who was responsible for this through our CIA. I mean, God knows we can't just put that out there if that's the facts. I mean, who was really behind this? We literally got nothing from these JFK files. Nothing. They're just nothing. There's a lot of stuff about the CIA being corrupt. No kidding. No kidding, right? I mean, we already had Crossfire Hurricane. We already have we know the CIA is broken, but there's nothing actionable. And that's the key. I'm so tired of talk, and the sleight of hand, right? The sleight of hand. Justice is coming. I just am going after the death penalty for one murderer. Congratulations. That has nothing to, you have videotapes of pedophiles who are in positions where they can steal and share national security secrets, and you're doing nothing. If you're what you're redacting? You're redacting? I got an idea. Put it in court. I mean, I got it. You got to redact the victim name. Okay. It doesn't take long to redact the victims' names. We don't need to know about the methods. The methods aren't real complicated here, right? So your methods and practices, which are frequently, okay, there's not a whole lot to know. I mean, we uncover the fact that there's a pedophile ring that's well known. They investigate it, and guess what? He's a pedophile. So they seize all the data. I mean, there's just not that much there. You could put a couple of these people and you could shut that national security loophole. And this is just a mind-blowing thing for me, Joe, that they are allowing, again, who sponsored Jeffrey Epstein? Who was the guy? Who was behind Jeffrey Epstein? Who allowed or facilitated this? Whoever it was is the real enemy. So we not only have Epstein, and we not only have the people who we need to get out of the positions of national security that are still being blackmailed, but we also have the fact that whoever was behind Epstein didn't go away just because Epstein's dead. And whoever he was selling that data to, I mean, does anybody really believe that Epstein was just sitting on that data? How do you think he made his money? He sold it. Who was he selling it to? Because that's what we really need to look into. Right? Whoever he was selling that data to, I mean, he may have been the guy that was implementing the plan, but he wasn't the plan. Someone was paying him for that information. Someone was paying him for everything. That blackmail scheme got started somewhere, and it didn't get started without funding. So who funded it? Who was behind it? And you can say, well, once he had all this information, he blackmailed them. Okay, well, how did he fund it to get started? Who gave him the intel? There's a lot of people that try and do blackmail schemes. I don't know any of them that end up owning islands and multiple properties and can do it with government officials unless someone's helping them. So who was helping them? Who was he selling it to? Who had the real control? These are national security threats that remain ongoing, and until such time as that list is made public and then the public gets to know who it actually is that are our enemies, it remains a loophole. It's a problem.
It's terrible. You're so spot on, Tom. And a lot of people are feel your way. It's like, what's going on here? This is why we're in a crisis situation now. I don't care what people are saying. We're in a crisis right now. Our country is on the cusp of being taken over by communist fascists. They've done things we've never dreamt of before. They're going after people like you and me to this day for sharing the truth. Owen Schroyer was on the show a week ago too. Just got swatted. It's just they're putting swastikas on Teslas, burning down that kind of stuff. Great, but we need to get to the bottom of some of this major league crime. Here's a big question that I've asked Tom, kind of like the Epstein list. Why don't we know what really happened with Seth Rich? Yeah. They've got 2 laptops of his sitting in the FBI that they denied for a number of years that they had anything on him. Finally, it comes out, oh, we've been holding his 2 laptops. Yeah. What's going on there? Was he the instigator of the Russia collusion sham? Are you continuing to cover all this stuff up? How about all those redacted pages these people send out that are criminal? Yeah. It's criminal to do that. Americans want to see this stuff. We want the truth. We're so tired of the deep state protecting itself. And quite frankly, Tom, I don't know. I mean, as we talk through this, how has the deep state been damaged at all today?
They haven't. USAID being temporarily shut down, although the judges are trying to open it back up, is a big deal. Some of the funding cuts that Trump's going after are big deals if he can get them in there, but he keeps running into problems. Until he actually leverages the power of the DOJ to get some people in criminal binds, this is going to continue. He's doing he's got half the plan right? He's got the part about going after the money and getting rid of the people, but until he gets the DOJ involved on the criminal side, and until some of these people are dealt with that, it's only half the problem. Because right now, we've got a situation where they have used criminal tactics to ensure control over everything. And, listen, realistically, there's been all sorts of allegations about, people, corruption with judges, things like that. I mean, look at Judge Merchant's family. How much money did they make there? You're going to tell me that there's not an indication of some criminal action there? I mean, how about that? When are we going to start investigating that sort of thing? Criminal activity is criminal activity, and it doesn't matter whether you're a judge, jury, or prosecutor. If you are violating the law outside of the scope of your employment, it doesn't matter who you are. Where is that? Now, some of that stuff's slow, but Trump's going to have to actually go after this just like anybody else, or it ain't going to work. You can't walk into a street fight and fight a good, clean boxing match and expect to win. And I know Trump's doing a good job, but his people got to have the right mindset. And that mindset is accountability and going after him or else. I mean, period. Right now, Trump and Musk, they're on it. They're doing it. But I don't see it everywhere. It's a lot of business as usual for a lot of people. And it can't wait. It cannot wait. Again, here's what I would challenge anybody that tells me, well, trust the plan. Be patient. Listen, if you want to develop a RICO case to go after the Open Society Foundation, assuming that the evidence exists, that's going to take a minute. I get it. We'll trust the plan. But when you have people leaking national security info because they're being blackmailed or potentially having that happen on a continuous and ongoing basis, And who knows what other sort of corrupt things are happening. I mean, there's a lot of very, very reasonable allegations that, the judges were also on the Epstein list and in the Epstein files. Are they being blackmailed as well? What's happening here? That is a continuous ongoing issue that has every bit of potential to go to impact Trump and what he's trying to accomplish. Until you start shutting some of that down, we are allowing ourselves to be at risk for more national security issues, for more people to impede Trump, for more people to impede his agenda. And, while our DOJ is busy redacting everything that they can redact to make sure all the right people are protected, this continues on. Trump's agenda continues to be stifled. We continue to have people being blackmailed, and God knows what sort of data or security is being leaked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's people out there that have committed such horrible crimes. I'm talking like people like Brennan and Comey and Mueller and
Yep.
Weissman and Eisen, and the list goes on and on and on. I can't believe that you're allowing these people. So you've taken away their security clearance? I mean, that's it? I mean, it's great, but that's like kindergarten. How about
Yeah.
stepping up to, middle school? Let's bring some of these people in and indict them for the obvious things that they've done over the years. Weissman has 30-year record of doing things that's just against the law in his cases, hiding information, obstructing justice. We should go back 30 years on that guy.
Unless you want to claim and are asking me to believe that no one on the Epstein list has access to any national security data, confidential or secret information, unless you want me to believe that there are no politicians of any authority who may have their votes or views or actions colored by blackmail on the Epstein list, it is imperative that that be dealt with immediately. And if you ask me to believe that, I'm going to tell you, you are either an idiot or just downright gullible. Or a liar, because at this point, it's really, everybody knows there are major politicians, major bureaucrats, major globalist billionaires on that list. Until that list is dealt with, we're going to continue to have problems. And I got to tell you, Joe, it is a foundational thing that we get this done. It's Trump's agenda. I mean, this could potentially move Trump's agenda way forward if he gets this done. Because if you pull those people out, if you pull the blackmail tools out, guess what? You've gotten rid of some serious opposition there. But we got to know who's behind it. We got to know what's going on. And I'm going to tell you, if they release these papers and we don't get to find out who was behind Epstein, then we know all we need to know about whether these papers were whitewashed or not. And that's because, and at that point, you can't trust any of it, because when do you trust a liar?
Yeah. We're seeing it over and over. Like I said, even I shared that piece from Sheila Matthews with Able Child already, the Butler information we haven't got. I mean,
Yep.
He damn near died, as we all know,
Yeah.
so close. And it's so important. And I agree with you. I love Trump. I am so grateful
So
for
do
this
I.
guy. I think these are historic times. Fight's going to go down in history
Yep.
as one of the most important sayings ever. But, I have, all these great lines. Fight, fight, fight is the line of our time. We have got to get going here. It's not, I don't know. I don't think it's panic. I think it's, we want justice. There's people like me and Jim and many others, yourself, that have been targeted, that have been,
Yep.
attacked, that have been, shadow banned, in every which way, trying to destroyed. And it's, I want to see some justice for this stuff. It's been a nightmare.
100%. 100%. At the end of the day, we either get the justice or nothing changes. And, we fought for Donald Trump because we need change. We have to recognize that just because you trust Donald Trump doesn't mean you can't question his administration. And, we've got a track record, a reason to question. I'm going to continue questioning. I want to see results. When we see results, we'll get moving. I know Doge is doing great. I know Trump is doing great, but I also know that there's a lot to be done, and some of these issues are ongoing national security threats that need to be dealt with.
No, you're absolutely right. Any final thoughts on who you think might be on this Epstein list and who's behind it all?
I got to be honest with you. The stories about Bill Gates are particularly interesting to me, and I would love nothing more if he was actually on the list and if the evidence shows that he did something wrong than to see that guy in jail. That would fix a lot of problems in our world. I think that we've got to look, it's the high level globalist billionaires and the politicians that I think we need to deal with on this. And if we can shut down the sex trafficking, blackmail schemes, that will change the world in a pretty profound way, because it's a well-known, you know this, Joe. Everybody knows Washington is blackmailed from one end to the other, and a lot of it is through sex trafficking and different things like that. They got pictures of more elected officials in D.C. in more compromising positions than we'll ever know. I mean, yeah, it's like when they busted the prostitution ring right around the time that there was going to be the vote on the new FBI headquarters. Suddenly, no one was going to vote for a new FBI headquarters. Then the FBI steps in and busts the popular prostitution ring that was tied to a lot of Congress people. Next thing you know, everybody's voting for the new FBI headquarters. This is how Washington's run. Everybody around Washington knows it, but it's only now starting to leak out to we the people, and that's what Epstein will really do, and the Epstein list will really do, unless they whitewash it, which I'm getting more and more concerned by the day that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, we know Bondi also was involved in it in Florida years ago. So,
well, it's at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to support Donald Trump. He and Elon Musk have produced incredible results. His administration will measure them, each individual, on an individual basis, and I have no interest in blindly trusting any sort of plan or any other person. You either do if you're doing the job, we got to have accountability, and I'm just not seeing it yet. I pray to God, though. I pray one thing, Joe. I pray that I can come back on your show and say, Joe, man, was I wrong? I'm so sorry. Pam Bondi's a rock star.
Yeah, I know it. I hope so too. I really hope so, because she's a lovely lady. She looks beautiful and all that, and she's smart. She helped him out and is one of those bogus impeachments. So kudos to all that. But man, we need action now. It's really pretty dire. This country it's the future of this country's at stake. We all know that. I'm sure they do too. Trump knows it. He's been through hell. So more than any of us, so, and we've been through hell. So anyways, a lot of things. Tom, how can people help you? Where can they find you and reach out to you?
GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw, GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. That supports a lot of the work that we do for free. And then follow us on the Tom Renz Show, TomRenz.com. TomRenz.com. You have to actually type it, because Google censors me so bad that if you search Tom Renz, you cannot find TomRenz.com. But yeah, so any support that y'all can do, you can follow my Substack, TomRenz.substack.com. And then, of course, if anybody's willing to share this, that's always good too, because, one thing is I always try and support what's happening over here at joehoff.com, because you do a great job, Joe, and I'm very grateful for all that you do.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Really appreciate it. No, it's an honor knowing you. We're going to keep fighting no matter what. We love this country, and that's what we do. There's not a choice here. It's the future of multiple generations. Like Elon says, it's the future of civilization. And I think 100%. He's right. Agree. Tom, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. We'll catch up again soon.
Honored to be here. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks a lot. We'll be back tomorrow on the Joe Hoff Show with another great guest. Thanks so much for being with us. See you.